So I put a link to a video I watched this morning on the description below. So if you have been following my videos for months now, I have been struggling with this thing, you know, we are gods, you are gods. It started with getting into the raw material, the law of one. No, it actually started years ago when my late husband told us we are gods. Well, I knew he just wanted to get our hackers out because he knows we are Catholic and my family are staunch Catholic. I just dismiss it. You know, those days I don't believe any of this. So I didn't pay attention to it until the raw material, the law of one. And same thing came out. And then I realized why he was saying that, because he went into the law of one material. Again, you know, I didn't really go too deeply into it until Ramana Maharshi, the Indian mystics. And he talks about using the self inquiry to bring out the real self. And this is actually a very simple, easy exercise. You know, when thoughts come to us, he will say, ask yourself, to whom are these thoughts arising? And then you just, it's arising to me. So you just keep looking at the ego, me, and then you separate it from the thoughts. And the whole premise is that this I or me, without the thoughts, it has no leg to stand on. And while you keep looking, you ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? And as you do that, this ego I would dissolve and the real self come in. I actually experienced that when I did that, and the ego physical self slowly just disappear, and then I could feel my real self coming out, coming in. So that was it. And then after that, I will go into, you know, all this field. Physicist Max Planck, where he talks about the fundamental base from which the entire creation come out from. And the fundamental base is what we call the infinite creator. And after him, Spinoza, where he arrived at the same thing, the singularity from where arises everything. So I went into all this. It's one thing when it's one, but you know, the slow evolving of it, and especially the law of one, where it says that God did not create us like one one by one. We all came together at the same time, created at the same time. And that was what Edgar Cayce said. So the amazing thing is, when I started going into videos of Edgar Cayce, I find that he affirmed very much what the law of one says about God creation, how we come into being. And Edgar Cayce, a practicing Christian, in his when he goes into his trance, he arrived at this, and he says the same, that we were created all together. And what is even more fascinating is that when the infinite creator, so let, let's do it this way. So the law of one says that at the beginning, there is this one cell, the infinite creator, and it had everything within itself. It doesn't need anything outside of itself, and it just was. And then this cell became aware. And with that awareness, it wanted to experience itself. It cannot experience itself because it is infinite. The only way it could experience itself is by being finite. So that was when this infinite creator expand, create the whole universe or universes by expansion. He expanded himself. I had a hard time grasping it, and I was shown an image at that time. I thought it came from me, and yesterday I came across Basha using the same imagery of a mirror, and the mirror just splitting into shards, pieces, fragments, and this is us. Of course, the mirror, the infinite creator, remains whole. So I couldn't believe it when Basha was used the same imagery, and I realized the raw collective, my spirit team probably present that image to me, and so that is us, and that is how the infinite creator experience life through us. We are all particle fragments of the infinite creator experiencing life. So it's like the infinite creator having a human experience through us. Anyway, with Edgar Cayce, he said that when we first came into being, we were like, of course, fresh out from the infinite creator. We were like eighth density, and we were able to co-create, like God. But over time, we get curious. I wanted to experience the material world, and that's how we come on earth. So I have been following months of fighting with it, struggling with it. Isn't it blasphemy? How can we think that way? And dismissing it. And so anyway, l- yesterday again I was struggling with it. So I asked my spirit team to help me in my dream. Well, they didn't help me in my dream. But when I opened up YouTube this morning, right away I saw that video of Edgar Cayce. And that is an amazing video. This person goes into Edgar Cayce readings and answer all those difficult questions. God, creation, how we come into being. If God create us, why is there suffering or evil? And it just answers the whole thing. But the one thing I get from it, Yogananda used the same imagery of the infinite creator being the ocean and we being like droplets in the ocean. So you take up a drop and that is us, but it has the same property of the infinite creator. And this video used the ocean being the infinite creator and we being waves. Each individual wave has its own, characteristics, its own feature. But we are still God, fragments of God. And it says when we go back into the ocean, we are merged back into the infinite creator, but we still retain pretty much, what we are. So we are like individual and yet part of the oneness of the infinite creator. And the oneness really helps me because when took me a while, I'm not completely there, but at least now I am able to understand the oneness that when we hurt another, we are actually hurting ourselves because when you think of it, if we are all God, infinite creator having an earthly experience, when we do something good to another, we are doing it to God. When we are doing something bad to another, we are hurting not just God, but hurting ourselves because we all belong to that oneness. Yeah, so that is what I have been going through. And yeah, anyway, so that is my sharing for today.